we're filming him. It's his first time driving this machine. It's up a sketchy, icy, jank little cliff road.
I made a promise to my girlfriend that I was only going to have one Subaru at a time.
But there is one secret sauce that we do to this day. I research it every day. That is like as close as you're going to get to 100% guarantee of going viral.
What is it?
Welcome to the Cent and Bent podcast. This is the year of grind hard. 2024 is going to be insane, dude. I have an opportunity to win a helicopter worth over 6 figures. Did you know that?
I didn't know it was over 6 figures in value, but I did know that we're winning a helicopter, which is very premium. Well, we haven't won it yet, but I have faith.
So we got to go through that. Will's got a new deal he wants to propose to me. That sounds very interesting.
Edwin decided he wanted to bring this on the podcast, but it's kind of supposed to be like a secret. I'm trying to figure out some things, but well, I'll let you guys in on it.
All right. Yeah, both of our wives watch the podcast.
Yes.
And we decided that the podcast is the space for us to talk openly about like anything, including like up and coming projects. And normally we're kind of secretive about that kind of thing because, you know, sometimes the ladies in our lives don't approve of our ideas.
Yeah, and I think they've caught on that if they listen to the podcast, they get information that they shouldn't have.
Exactly. So we got to cover that. We got a bunch of really great questions on the YouTube channel that we're going to go over because this is the perfect forum to do it.
Awesome.
Ethan's gone today. He's out swindling about in Texas, probably looking at Humvees on the internet.
He always is.
He always is. So I guess we'll start with the first matter of the helicopter, man. This helicopter is Cleetus McFarland's Freedom 500. He's been doing it for like 4 years now or something.
I know. This guy's just doing things. He's out here doing things.
It's an inspiration. I'm really excited to see his operation because sometimes I'm a pretty ambitious person, but I can get complacent. Like, I don't know. I feel like most of last summer, I was like, we got a good thing going for us at Grind Hard, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, we have good jobs. We enjoy our jobs. We are on kind of a constant growth trajectory. Like, that's rewarding. But
yeah, it's really solid because we're doing things that we actually want to do.
Yeah.
And it's a business that's functional.
Yeah.
At a certain point. So,
which is pretty rare.
It's pretty rare. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. But recently with like, I've been getting into more of like Heavy D Sparks videos and Cleetus with the Freedom 500 and just the Freedom Factory. Like, there is a lot more that we could do with our platform. And I try not to feel pressure to do those things specifically because, I mean, we've always done our own thing and that's why we are where we are because we are who we are. Mm-hmm. But man, is owning your own racetrack and having Travis Pastrana race on it the coolest thing ever.
I know. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I was like, it's pretty crazy the point that YouTubers have gotten to in like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just increasing because everyone's trying to do the bigger thing.
Yeah.
There's so much competition out there. It's pretty crazy to see that like there's legitimate race car drivers on a YouTuber's track.
Yeah. NASCAR Rookie of the Year.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
So we got invited to this race. We announced it in a Monster Chopper video, which is hilarious because Cleetus's video came out like 2 weeks after that. He just texted me. He just said, like, someone asked me, if they could give him my number like a year ago, and he didn't text me until like a couple weeks ago. He was like, hey, man. Hell yeah, brother. I don't know. Like, I
did
can't
he
do
say
it.
that?
I can't. He didn't do that.
Did he say hell yeah,
he did
brother?
Say bro though. He does call everyone brother and bro. But he said, hey, bro, do you want to come to the Freedom 500 and race? The prize is a helicopter. That's it. Not like, I think maybe the date was there, April 5th.
Okay, so very vague details.
That was it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah.
Of
and
course.
That's before I knew. Like, I was thinking, like, I don't know. Like, I've seen some janky helicopters. We browse Marketplace. We've seen them.
Yeah. There's one called the
$20,000.
Mosquito. I've looked at it multiple times because you could just like, it would be a breeze to get to work if I had a mosquito helicopter. Yeah. And they're like really janky. They come in like a box and you build them. So when he said helicopter, I was imagining more of like a box craft helicopter.
I was thinking that, which you see those used for like under 20 grand.
Yeah, I saw one last summer for like 10. I was going to swoop it, dude.
So I was like, oh yeah, premium, like a helicopter clickbait, let's go. Like, I want to win a helicopter. And then he dropped his video, because this was weeks before. We put it in our video. Mm-hmm. And then like one of the number one comments on his video was like, hey, didn't Grindhard talk about this like 2 weeks ago? Were they not supposed to?
There was like a whole bunch of comments on that video like, why would you do this? Why would you show people that the helicopter is the prize, man?
Yeah, it's so funny. But we didn't know what kind of helicopter. And so Cleetus video comes out and it is like shiny, everything just went through, custom paint. He said that helicopter is worth $150,000. And all we got to do is be the first one across the finish line, man.
Which I feel like we're pretty good at racing janky stuff. I mean, we're not racing it, but Ethan's really good at racing janky stuff. So I think we have a good shot.
Yeah, he definitely won't lose due to fear or lack of concentration. That's for sure.
Absolutely not.
So we put all our chips on Ethan because we only get one car. I tried to finesse a car for you too. That was the first thing I responded. I said, yes. Could we get a car for Will? And he said, right now there's only one seat per person or whatever.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but if we're winning a helicopter, I'd choose Ethan.
Yeah, I think out of the lot of us, he's the move.
I think so, because not only does he have like a lot of skill driving these swindly crafts, and a Crown Vic is kind of swindly, but he also is like responsible. So he's not gonna do something reckless and like ruin it.
I feel like you and I'd go too fast and like ruin our tires straight away or something.
Yeah, I would go full throttle around the track until my engine blew up.
He has a solid. This is funny, gassing Ethan up when he's not here on the podcast. Yeah. Like I feel like this happened last time he wasn't here too. But he has like a good capacity, like mental capacity behind the wheel of any machine.
Also, that man has like a weird magical aura around him where like janky crafts just like turn on and run.
Yeah.
Even if they're broken.
Yeah. He's the only one that can start our Barbie Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just arrives and it's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
There's people like that, man.
There's people
just people like that. And he's one of them. But even like when he recently got this excavator, and we haven't put it in a video yet, but we're filming him. It's his first time driving this machine. It's up a sketchy, icy, jank little cliff road.
That was like handmade.
Yeah.
With hands. Like not like tools. Like it's like a footpath lengthened for a vehicle.
It would have been kind of sketchy to drive an excavator up there without the ice.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're seeing him multiple times like slip back, use the claw to like help him get up places.
He's like wrenching himself up the mountain with the claw.
It's like when someone almost drowns and they're like climbing back onto the beach, like he was doing that. But like these last minute decision makings in a giant machine that he's never driven anything like that before. And he's just like on it. Like there's this giant boulder. He picks it up, drags it to the side of the cliff road, and then the whole thing starts tipping because he didn't realize that the boulder couldn't hold a boulder that high, heavy. Yeah. The whole thing tips, and like last second, he like launches it, like lifts up the bucket and lets out the rock, and he falls back down. And Steven and I look at each other like, oh my God. Like we really thought we were about to just see our friend die.
I was in the support truck and he didn't just tip like this. He like tipped sideways on the track.
Towards the cliff.
Yeah. Which is like very jank.
Yeah. And then we go up there and we're like, dude, that was sketchy. He was like, I wasn't that high off, was I?
Yeah.
Like, super calm. And I think that is the reason why he's the choice driver for the Freedom 500.
For sure.
If something sketchy happens in front of him, he's the most likely to make the right decision.
Yep.
So I'm proud of that decision, but I really want to win, man.
Dude, imagine just scooting a helicopter around all over the place. And you were saying just this morning that you can land a helicopter anywhere you want with permission from the landowner?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, I went down a rabbit hole after watching Cleetus's videos. I was like, I haven't really seen. I mean, I guess Cleetus isn't a normal person. Like, he's a very successful, interesting lad. Mm-hmm. I've never seen someone that wasn't like I don't know, it's like a movie thing. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. You have a helicopter, you land on your yacht. You know, I thought that's what you had to do to have a helicopter.
But you can really just
craft one
and land anywhere you want with permission.
Like, they're expensive, and they're expensive to fly, and like, you know, expensive to get your license and whatever relatively. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not something that anyone could just go and do. But when you see kind of normal people crafting around helicopters, you're like, what? Is this an option for me? Like, this is so cool. I thought you had to have like Wolf of Wall Street money to even do this. I found this man. If you have permission, you can land there. That's basically the rules, is what this man said.
Dude.
And he was landing on people's houses in LA. Just like
on the roof?
Yeah. Huh? Like, they're like engineered to
take a helicopter.
But yeah, you just call them up. Hey, can I land on your roof? Like, yeah. Bam. Legal.
Huh? That is amazing.
So we could just like take off in the field, fly around, land. Wow. And I don't know much about this helicopter specifically, except for what was in Cleetus's video, but man, is it a cool thing to craft our way into.
It looks very much more legit than I could have ever expected. Like, Steve and I were looking at the Instagram, and we saw it. I was like, what is that? That is so much more cool than I thought it could ever be. I thought it was going to be like some weird gray kit.
Yeah. But the paint, I mean, man.
It's very awesome.
Cars.
Helicopters have been in my life more than I would expect the last couple of months.
What do you mean?
Well, my friend Davey and Max, they run like a heavy machinery company.
Yeah.
And they were talking, Max has his helicopter license. I don't know how he got it, but he just got it.
What the devil?
He can just fly a helicopter, and he's my age, and he can like fly a helicopter whenever he wants, I guess. But they're talking about getting a helicopter for their company that has like a string going down, and it has a blade, and it can cut things. Like, you can go.
That sounds fake, man. I think you're getting it confused with us watching The Incredibles last night.
No, because I thought it sounded fake too, and then I looked it up, and they showed me some photos of it, and you like strap this thing down, and you can cut the tops of trees off with your helicopter.
Why would you want to do that?
Like, far away places in the mountains, so you don't have to hire a whole crew. You just fly your helicopter over there, and you like, shing.
It's like a fire control thing?
I guess. I don't really know.
A firework.
I don't really know what it's for.
Man?
Well, we need to bring a picture up somewhere, but it's very weird.
Yeah, like, Steven, could you look into that?
Yeah, look at it.
Look up when you find it. Just run over here and talk into my microphone and tell us what it is.
Yeah, look up like what I think I looked up was like tree cutting services with helicopter.
Oh, this sounds so fake, man.
Nope. That's not fake.
That sounds like the actual most dangerous thing you could do. Is their business that successful where they have helicopter money?
Well, they called it the 5-year plan. So within 5 years, they want that. Yeah, and they do it for like logging and stuff. They just go up there and like swindle trees with helicopters. It's amazing. And I guess you can just do this.
And there's like, it must be pretty profitable. I imagine it's quite risky.
Yeah, because it's for jobs that are like you can't get to, or like on fire service roads and stuff that you couldn't bring a whole crew up there. You bring your helicopter with a sword on the bottom of it.
Doesn't he like build driveways and stuff right now?
Yeah, and they got this really cool thing. It's called a MAAC. It's very awesome.
That sounds fake too. It's like a Happy Meal item.
Dude, the logo is the McLaren logo.
Really?
It says like MAAC, but it's like in the McLaren writing. And he let me drive it. He let Katie drive it too. In a snowstorm before we're going to pick up an R1. It's this it is this vehicle that looks like a Batmobile on the bottom of it. It has like those 4 wheels, like 4 in the front, 4 in the rear, and it can turn in like all different directions. It's basically, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like the closest thing. It's like an Optimus Prime on wheels. That's what it's like. It's really nice. And you can like pick things up and move them and plow with it. And it's big.
So it's like a multi-purpose utility truck.
Utility vehicle. It's not a truck. It's like a robot. It's very amazing. And it was the first time I've ever driven heavy machinery. And he let me just jump in and kind of like move trash around and then move snow around. You feel invincible in one of those. I know why Ethan likes them now.
Yeah. Well, like the day that, so a friend up the road, Chris, is who helped Ethan construct this thing. So he brought his little excavator around. And that day that we're drifting the trike around the excavator and I got to drive it up the driveway while Ethan was drifting around me, I was like, yeah, I see why Ethan likes this. Yeah. This is pretty sweet.
You don't understand until you jump in one and you're like, I can do anything with this.
It's like playing a video game in real life. Like that giant rock, I can just,
yeah, you just throw it somewhere. Yeah. It's awesome.
I've noticed this trend with like YouTubers in general. Not just automotive YouTubers, but it seems like when men of the internet get a little bit of money, they end up buying skid steers.
Yeah, I think that's like the first purchase of anyone who makes a little bit of money on YouTube is like a skid steer.
Yeah, even like Roman Atwood.
Yeah.
Like he has like helicopters and GTRs and all this stuff. But like I was watching his videos the other day. And he was like talking about skid steers, just like, oh yeah, like skid steers raw. Like
yeah, all this stuff. It's amazing.
I'm like, what is it?
I think it's
are men that predictable?
I think you can like make jumps with them and stuff. I think that's why all those YouTubers are buying them. Like you can make a really big dirt bike jump.
No, we're all just children. We never really grow up.
Yeah, when you're a child, you play in the sandbox with like your little trucks. Like trucks, and then they just get bigger. Like
I was thinking about this because my nephew is like of that age where he's like trucks, dump trucks, monster trucks, you know? I'm like, is this some kind of like super crafty propaganda to like
make us all work with trucks when we get older?
Because like construction is like, you know, what
it's essentially
need
big
to grow an economy.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard and dirty and a lot of people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if you just get them, like Tonka was probably like funded by the government or something. Like we're going to give all these little boys trucks, and when they grow up, by golly, they're going to be buying skid steers, building roads, moving giant rocks.
They're creating the workforce young.
Exactly.
Also, like I've noticed in this generation, my generation, we don't have toys like that anymore. And maybe that's why there's a lack of workers like that now. We don't have Tonka trucks and stuff.
What did you have?
I had RC cars that went really fast and stuff. Like that's what I had. And I grew up and I bought real cars that could go fast. I didn't play with like Tonka trucks.
I think that you grew up in like a unique situation though. Like most people don't grow up like off grid, like with like cool parents and I don't know. Like I feel like most people are like in an apartment in a city like playing with toys, and you were probably like out and about on your own getting chased by wolves. I was like
dirt and stuff, like crafting around like the area that we live in. But I feel like you just don't see them very much. Like you used to see kids playing in sandboxes and stuff with bulldozers and things like that. But now you don't. You see them making TikToks in Walmart. I just saw one yesterday, so I know.
That is so right.
Like it's just a different atmosphere. Yeah, they'll be like in the aisle, like yo, doing that little dance.
The Fortnite dances, man, they go so hard.
They do.
Yeah, that is interesting. I haven't thought about that because I never plan on having a little rugrat, so I don't really pay attention to what the rugrats are doing.
Yeah, I'm close enough to the rats in what's a rugrat?
It's like a little kid, man. Like, you know, crawling, like playing.
I was just going along with the conversation, and then I realized I didn't know what it was. But I'm close enough in age to the rugrats that I see that still. like see what they're playing with.
You go play in sandboxes?
Not really, no. But like my sisters are like my little sister's pretty young still. So
How old is she?
she's 10. So
Really?
yeah, and
Dang, your parents decided to raise kids for like 4 decades.
yeah, they're different. We're very different ages. So
Wow.
yeah,
That goes hard. Were you on purpose? Were you the first one?
yeah, yep.
And you
I was
were
the
on
first
purpose?
one. Yep, and then I was
Dang.
raised very differently than my sisters. Like I was raised in a hospital and stuff, or like not raised there, but born in one. And then
Wait,
you know, like
what?
you know the difference between like water birth and midwives and stuff like that.
Oh, you
And
were literally born
I was
in a, okay.
literally born in a hospital. That's kind of probably like why I spend a lot of my time there now.
I was born in a hospital too, man. I think it's because you crashed street bikes.
Yeah,
so much.
maybe that too. But yeah, I was just raised very different from my sisters. But I get to see what they're into and what their friends are into.
And they're not
it
into
just,
trucks.
Yeah, like my sister has a YouTube channel, like when she's 10.
Really?
I would have never done that before, you know? Like
Huh.
it wasn't a thing when I was a kid, but just very different. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how many YouTube channels there are of kids that just don't make it into the algorithm because they're kids, you know?
Yeah, they
Because
really...
it is illegal.
It is, yeah. And she was like so mad because YouTube shut down one of her accounts. She has like 3 of them. And she was like, YouTube shut me down because I'm too young. But I just want to make videos, man. So
Really?
why aren't you letting me film?
Well, shoot, she should learn how to edit and then join the crew when she turns 15. We need some editing help, man.
She's on her way, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think there's a
we got
future.
5 years.
5
Okay,
years.
tell her to train up.
Okay, well,
I'll send her my tutorial video that I send our editors.
okay. Super
All right.
cool.
Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, we got on a little off-road tangent right there about Tonka trucks and children.
We seriously did end up talking about
We really
children.
do this a lot. When it's just us on the podcast,
I
we
know.
talk about some weird things.
That's why I wanted to do just us today,
yeah.
because I miss like those rabbit holes. Like Ethan is so serious, he kind of pulls us out of the rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But I think the deeper you go in a rabbit hole, the better.
Sometimes it is.
Like I went deep down the yay rabbit hole last night, and I ended up not sleeping until 4 a.m. after not sleeping the night before because I was editing the video.
I'm confiscating a couple of your responsibility tokens and giving them to myself.
Hey, I got you out of 20 push-ups yesterday.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So
All right.
what is your... It seemed like you were pitching me a business proposal. And
No,
then I
I
kind of
was-
stopped you. I was like, let's do this on the podcast.
I was asking the opinion of my friends because I felt guilty about something that may or may not happen. I'm still in negotiation with another person. I'm kind of in a bidding war now, which it's changed a lot since I last talked to you, but I think it's something that might still happen.
All right. Well, what's the gist of it?
Okay. Katie, if you're watching this, just it may or may not happen, but I made a promise.
Click on the screen a few times to the right.
Skip over this. But I made a promise to my girlfriend that I was only going to have one Subaru at a time because I kind of got out of hand last year. But I got the opportunity to buy a real Japanese Subaru WRX.
You should explain to the good people how out of hand your Subaru-ness got.
Well, I had 12 Subarus at a time for a long time that all didn't run.
All WRXs.
All WRXs of all different years and sizes and shapes and disheveled pieces of Subarus. When I moved out of my shop, I actually threw away 2 tons
of Subaru parts.
Yeah, that's including a shell and some other stuff. But
He's being humble. The man is a menace. He
I might
had a
have that.
garage in Spokane that's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours from here.
no, it's 2.
He'd work here all day, go there, work all night, sleep on like a cement floor for like 40 minutes, and then come back here and do
Yeah.
the same thing again for months on end, to the point where Ethan and I sat you down and we're like, dude, because at the time, one of your big goals is to work for us full time.
Yeah.
We're like, dude, it's kind of got to be one or the other. Like you had some zombie days, man.
Yeah, I had some times when I was just literally a shell of myself walking around.
So it was at the point where you were spending all of your money, all of your time, and like risking employment. You were so obsessed with these Subarus and none of them ever worked.
Well, like I would get like one limping along the streets for a little while and use like other pieces of Subaru to keep that one going. And then like I would realize that I needed to buy another one because it had this transmission and I wanted to put it in this Subaru. So like I just kept them around and it really kept the passion going. But then I took a step back. I talked to my girlfriend and I took a step back and I realized that was just not healthy to have that many Subarus. And we made the one Subaru rule. Okay.
Okay.
But lately, I found this premium Subaru from Japan. So it's right-hand drive. It's really nice. It's a wagon. They never made them in the U.S.
Oh, dang.
It just got imported. And I got like the deal of a lifetime to get this. It has blown head gasket. Okay. That's why I'm getting the deal.
Uh-huh.
But it's such a good deal, I couldn't pass it up. And I started talking to this guy, and he really talked me into getting it. And I was like,
how much is it?
Well, I've got him talked down to $4,800. They're usually like 13 grand, a little disheveled. And this one is like very nice, and it has its title paperwork and all its import paperwork. It just needs a head gasket. And I was like, well, I can do a head gasket in a day. But where am I going to put this where my girlfriend doesn't know that I have another Subaru?
What if you sell yours so you can buy this one?
I don't know. It's like a guilt thing for me because the Subaru I have right now is a rendition of my yellow Subaru that I sold and I said I would never sell. Mm-hmm. So I kind of never can sell the Subaru I have right now.
That means you can never have another Subaru.
But maybe I could. I was looking at some options. I could just put it somewhere and slowly craft it together and then switch them out every once in a while and just say I bought a different Subaru.
That's the best idea you've come up with?
Well, she's getting really close to finding out. Because she was going through my phone and she saw me talking to Davey about transport situations for it. And she was like, what are you doing on Thursday? And I was like, I don't know.
Thursday? So you've already agreed
next
to do
week,
it.
yeah. So I have like a time and date of pickup and everything.
Oh.
At night, like a black ops situation. On where to drop this thing and everything. And she was going through my phone and she found some text messages because she was looking for a photo. And she found these text messages between Davey and I about picking up something on Thursday. And she was like, what is this? And I just told her that we were just going to hang out. So
that was a
she's
bad
still
move,
asking me, man.
If it's coming that soon, you just got to tell her.
I don't know. I really don't know. But
if you say you're going to turn it around and sell it, she might be okay with it. But you're not going to sell it.
I want to sell it. I want to keep it. I really miss the days. It's like the good old days of having like a whole bunch of Subarus just all over the place. It's really nice.
Oh, man. For some reason, I thought it was going to have more impact.
No, it's
like the way you're telling the story. I was like, Will found like a really good deal.
It is a really good deal.
It's relative, man.
No.
If you paid someone to do the work you're going to do on it, if that's the only problem, you're about at break even.
Yes, I would be at break even, but the fact of the matter is a head gasket for a Subaru is $30. And the work required, if I take my time, is like 5 hours if nothing goes wrong.
You know when you do a terrible hike, like it's raining and you go anyways, and then you're like, oh, like by the time you're back, you're like, I'll never do that again.
Nah.
But then like the time passes, you're like, oh yeah, that was actually really fun. That was really nice. You agree to do it again. And then you're like, oh yeah, never again. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with hangovers. Never again.
And then you do it again.
Exactly.
Same thing with Subarus.
That's my impression from your story.
Yeah, but I was asking as a friend, I was going to ask, like, is this wrong that I want to hide a Subaru somewhere and build it and then just have it, you know?
I'm the wrong person to ask, man. I get in the
know.
doghouse more than anybody I know. I'm always doing things I shouldn't be doing.
I could also pitch it as like practicality. It's a 4-door wagon, turbocharged, reliable.
It's not going to work, man. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, man.
It's not going to work, but I mean,
I don't know, man.
you just got to decide what's more important to you.
But it's something that I don't really know yet if it's going to happen because I'm going against someone else that's really heavily into the Subaru.
How did you find this? This isn't the kind of thing you find unless you're looking.
Well, I had my notifications turned on when it was for sale without a blown head gasket. Because I knew there was maybe a chance that it would blow a head gasket or something, and he would list it for way cheaper. And so he had it listed for a pretty high amount, like 10 grand.
Yeah.
And it had just a couple electrical problems at that point. And so I was like, okay, that's like pretty expensive for that car with electrical problems, but I'll see if it goes down. And then it went down to like a pretty reasonable number. And I was like, oh. And then I shot him my lowest offer, and he was like, maybe I could make that work. And I was like, oh. And then it kind of like got me interested, you know? And then when I get on the grind of getting someone lower in the money,
you are a hustler.
I like can't get out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why I really, here's an option. I don't think this deal will be around for very long.
Yeah.
But we've never talked about this publicly. But you and I, every time we get together and it's like just us, so we're like driving to pick something up or whatever, we always end up talking about the trade up challenge. Starting with something for free on Marketplace and working our way all the way up to a more expensive item. This is the loophole you're looking for. It's not your Subaru.
Yeah.
It's crafting for work.
Yeah.
You could still drive it around and stuff.
Yeah. And then
but it's not your Subaru.
Yeah, I crafted this for work. It's a work expense.
Dude, I bet if we started now on the trade up challenge, we can get to like $5,000 in a couple weeks.
I bet so. And I think that's actually, I was thinking about it earlier. I think that's actually what is addicting to me with Subaru.
You like the deal, yeah.
I like the deal.
You like the finesse.
And Subaru is one of the most deal cars because you can get them with problems and flip them for more when they work.
See, I was in a similar situation with Pokemon cards in kind of like my early 20s. I was like, oh yeah, like I was selling cards on eBay, building really nice decks and like, but I was spending more than I was making because I wasn't selling.
Yeah. Because you get them and you're like, oh man, maybe I could just keep this one. But
your street smarts want to say don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is you make really cool Pokemon decks and you wreck little kids at tournaments and it makes you happy, which is very similar, I assume, to blowing all your money on Subarus and thinking that you're making money when really, since you keep them all, you're
and then
not
it just
making money.
funds the projects that you have and you don't actually make money.
Exactly. But if it was for a YouTube video
and it was about getting money,
then the car isn't really yours. It's Grindhard's, and it's a hustle city piece of content.
I'm very excited about the trade up challenge. I cannot wait to start that project.
Maybe we got to start and finesse this wagon, dude.
That would be premium.
Grindhard people would be stoked to see a JDM wagon in the driveway, man.
Yeah, I really want a JDM car. I've wanted one for years, but
this could work, man. This could work. I have some other things coming up the pipeline that you don't know about yet. That like it could be handy to be in a situation like this, like in about a month.
Yeah, really. Because right now is the time to buy. We should actually start this because right now, the economy in vehicles has hit an all-time low on used vehicles.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like
they're not selling.
High.
No, they're not selling because they got to a point where they're unattainable, and now people are still listing for unattainable, and they're not selling. So you can go over to them and be like, yo, I'll give you $3. And they're like, okay, it's been up for 5 months. And they just sell it to you. So this might be a good time to start that challenge.
Okay.
Because once we get into a car, we can go places.
Yeah.
I mean, physically and...
Yeah. I think we start with for something free.
Yep.
Like just something someone once hauled off their property.
Yep.
We could fix it.
Yep.
Whatever
Fix
kind of
it,
machine
make it
is,
work.
Make it work. Then get our first bag. And then kind of do that for a while, like buying broken things, fixing them. So that way the value is in our labor. Yep. So that way we can get up to a price where we're finessing a good deal like this, where, okay, a couple days of work and now the car is worth thousands of dollars more than we paid for it.
Not a couple $100.
Yeah. We just need to think of a good, this is where we always get stuck on the idea. We need something expensive yet obtainable to work up to.
Yeah, we don't know what we're going to, but I guess we don't really have to start the challenge knowing what we're going to get to.
We can do it like the intro, like we're trying to go from $0 to an R35 GTR.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
That would be pretty cool.
Could you imagine? We all get arrested. First you get arrested.
Oh, why me?
Then we get the car out of impound and then I get arrested. And then Ethan gets arrested. And Steven might be the only one responsible enough in a GTR to not get arrested. No, he'd probably get arrested.
He'd get arrested.
Yeah, I've seen him drive. Little menace.
He is a menace. He pretends to be so responsible, but I've seen him.
But if it's a trade-up challenge for something slow, then it's not that interesting.
Yeah, no, it has to be fast. It has to be fast, and I really want it to be JDM, but that's just my opinion. Because backing up through a fast food drive-thru is like one of my biggest dreams.
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
I want to go backwards through the drive-thru, and they'll be like, hey, sir, you can't do that. I'll be
You
like,
never did that with your yellow car?
It wasn't right-hand drive.
But you swapped it.
I did, but it never drove again once I put the swap in.
Oh, you didn't finish it
after you finish it once I swapped it.
Wow, you would have to drive backwards.
You would, yeah.
That'd
and it would be
challenging, dude.
It'd be sick because they'd be like telling you couldn't do it, and you'd be like, this is the only way I can do it.
Man. Okay.
It's pretty cool. So that's why I want a JDM car. I don't want it for any other reason.
Okay. That's a good goal. Well, let's make it happen. Let's do this trade-up challenge.
Let's start it.
We'll get the wagon and we'll go backwards through McDonald's and then we'll sell it and get a better JDM car.
Yeah, just start going through the JDM ranks.
Yeah. We could just rank our way up with GTRs. After we get to the nicest, rarest Subaru,
then
we start with like,
yeah, like a GTST, like the rear-wheel drive versions, and then go up to all-wheel drive, and then turbocharged, twin turbocharged, then some built dyno one.
Yeah. Okay.
With a parachute. That's another one of my dreams. I want a parachute on my daily driver so I can just initiate flight.
I feel like you just need to get into drag racing, man. You could get your speed demon on.
But it's just not as fun when it's legal, man. When someone's telling you you can't do it and you initiate the parachute on the freeway, that's
illegal.
Cool. Yeah, it's illegal, but it would be really cool.
It would be. Oh, for real. All right. I'm going to go through these comments we got.
Okay.
Because we have some good ones here. This one's interesting. Brap Babies says,
oh, that's a nice name.
Best advice for a new YouTuber with video making, content related tips and tricks, anything you think they'll be helpful. I know you had a bit of success story from the jump, but I think it speaks numbers about the quality of what you produce. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm curious your thoughts because I feel like I've kind of talked about this before.
Yeah,
but you weren't around for the early days.
Yeah, I wasn't around when you guys started. And I think I've gone through quite a few little YouTube channels. I used to always create like YouTube channels when I was passionate about something like cars or motorcycles. I'd create a channel and just make videos.
Yeah.
Never really saw much success in those. But I can say from someone who's done YouTube for a really long time that consistently putting out quality content is really overlooked. Like they're going to say, oh, everyone says that, but it's true. I think you have to put out work that you're proud of consistently enough. Not like every day, but I think you just have to put it out, and it has to be good. Because if you're just putting out content to put out content and you're just filling out your channel with irrelevant stuff, I don't think people are going to really be interested. And I think in today's world, it's really important to put out something that's quality and that is engaging.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of big, I'll call them low effort channels for the, I don't know, not to be like rude, but there's a lot of people who got big in the beginning just because there wasn't a lot of competition.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All these people are on podcasts and all these things saying like, oh yeah, it's like so hard to make it as a influencer these days. Like it's so competitive, this and that. The algorithms are different. The AdSense isn't as much as it was in the beginning, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it couldn't be further from the truth. I think every day it gets easier to be a successful YouTuber. I really think that. And I think that because the algorithm just gets better at promoting the best videos.
Yeah. And if your videos are something that someone wants to watch, then they're going to watch it. I mean, and slowly you're going to grow because people are going to talk about you. And it's just, I think that's how it works. And being around for the in and outs of grind hard, I can personally see that there's like no secret recipe to growth. Like it's just like there is little things you can do here and there.
Yeah.
But there's all these people when you look up how to grow on YouTube, it's like, oh, you need the algorithm to be like this and stuff.
But there is one secret sauce that we do to this day. I research it every day. That is like as close as you're going to get to 100% guarantee of going viral.
What is it?
It's the sauce, man. This is what no one talks about.
Well, let's hear it.
It's so silly. Like, to me, it's obvious, but I have been like studying YouTube since it came out, like obsessively so.
And would you say the platform's changed a lot since?
Yeah, but it's changed for the better. It's just easier now. So it's like a video game, and it's just like beating the video game. Like, but okay, I'm done with all the philosophical.
We talking
big
sriracha sauce.
This is the specific sauce, man. It is sriracha sauce. So you go to a channel that has an abnormally high performing video, and that is like that because YouTube is recommending it to people outside of their audience. So if you find a channel that averages 5,000 views a video and this one got 10 million, you have 100% chance of there being people who want to see videos like that, and there's not a lot of videos like that. And I think you do need to do it on something you're genuinely passionate about for it to convey the right message to make people want to watch you and subscribe and keep watching you do that thing. But let's say this guy's building go-karts on the internet, getting like 3,000 views, 3,000 views, 3,000 views. And then there's this specific kind of cool rustic go-kart and they restored it and it got 13 million views. That is your roadmap. You study that video, you read the comments of that video. Why did this video work? And then you recreate that, but in your own way and in your own style, and it's going to work. Like it's as close as you can get to a sure bet. And we do that to this day, like with the Chang Lee videos. Like other people did that before us. And
we saw that worked.
There's this one called the Pack-Yak Pro. Oh, dang it. I think we
literally we're going into the rabbit hole.
No, we told Steven we would try not to talk about
Edwin,
the Chang Lee.
I did not talk about the Chang Lee. You started bringing us into the Chang Lee hole. You're doing the push-ups, man. We made a bet with Steven that we weren't going to say anything about the car that shall not be named.
Well, now I used it as an example, so I need to use it. So there's this YouTuber that's really cool that makes videos like making this pond and like this place in Florida, I think. And his videos get pretty good views, you know, but he made one on the $5,000 truck that shall not be the name of the brand mentioned. Although I think that still counts as talking about a Shangling. So anyways, this thing's called the MAAC, and he like shows the car, shows the modifications he made to make it useful on his property. That video had an abnormal amount of views. So let's think of this the reverse way. If you're trying to start a YouTube channel, Whistling Diesel did one on the same truck, and it got like 10 million views. Mm-hmm. But all of Whistling Diesel's videos get that many views. So it's not a good example of I should do a video like that because it has 10 million views. It doesn't matter. He gets views because of his personality, the story he tells. That's his audience watching his video, which isn't a good way to build an audience. You want to do content that is based around something that is underserved. That's the word I'm looking for. It's an underserved niche. So let's say you want to make a channel about like skateboarding. It's like, good luck. That's what the people are talking about. It's so hard because skateboarding's so competitive.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, the best
literally
people are so good. But the biggest skateboarding YouTube channels aren't what you would think. It's not the professionals.
Yeah, some of the biggest ones out there are like, can we skate on ice skate wheels and stuff?
Exactly.
Like they do like weird things that haven't been filled.
Yeah. We'll do epoxy table resin skateboard.
We're talking about the same YouTube channel.
We are talking about the same
for a
YouTube
fact
channel.
Because sometimes I go down that rabbit hole and it's like all these random skateboards that shouldn't be skatable.
Yeah, so cool.
It's so cool.
But that's what it takes. So like, it's like the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect results.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, no.
And then you are like getting into what like the popular word around being an influencer is, like getting lucky or happening to be beautiful or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if you're willing to work hard and willing to make a really good video
on
you find a channel that doesn't get a lot of views, that had a handful of videos that blew up, and you finesse it. And that's what we've been doing since the very beginning. So I don't know. It bothers me because I know that like these podcasts are getting millions of views of people like, oh yeah, it's impossible. It's so competitive. It is so not, dude.
Yeah, it's so doable.
Yeah, I have like 50 YouTube channels that would blow up if I had the time to do them.
Yeah.
And like I have a lot of confidence of like, you know, my editing and like ability to tell a story, which is a big part of like, even if you're really, really into something, but then like you're not into the process of making the videos, the editing and filming is a bit of a grind.
Yeah. And you have to be, and that's where I was saying, like, you have to be passionate about it. Like,
yeah, the actual process of the videos, like you need to be fired up about your favorite YouTubers. You can't just be like, oh, these YouTubers have nice cars, so I want to be like them.
Yeah.
That's not going to get you there.
No.
It's got to be like, I like this video because the way that they cut the music with the story makes me feel good. And like the just suspense is so much fun for me to live in this moment, not knowing if they're going to like complete the challenge. Like to me, it seems like the obvious thing to do, but it's not, because, you know, if you're looking for advice in this, you go to the biggest channels, and all the biggest channels are saying
all just, it's hard. You have to do this and this and this. It's like, no. And yeah,
I don't think it's any harder than starting any other business.
No.
The bottom line is starting business for yourself is a lot.
It's hard.
Than just like going and getting a job. But like, and you take on a lot more risk and stress and responsibility and all that stuff. But if you're willing to take it on, it's like, I don't know, just find something that's working and then do it.
Yeah. I think that's some really good advice.
Yeah. Probably a little more of a rant than necessary. Maybe we'll answer one question per podcast. I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
I didn't even read these before. That just happened to be the first one. If you guys had unlimited budget, oh yeah, I dream about this kind of stuff.
Unlimited
and budget. All the equipment required, what would you build? This is the wrong question for us. This is more of an Ethan question.
Yeah,
Ethan has more expensive ideas than us.
All my ideas are kind of like not that expensive, I guess.
Yeah. We have talked about the 6x6 drag racing WRX.
Yep. Want to
So,
do that.
With an unlimited budget, machining pass-through differentials that can handle a lot of horsepower is something that the whole crew would be very interested in.
Yeah, because that could work for a lot of things.
It's hard to make 6x6s because of the lack of pass-through axles.
Yeah, and all the pass-through axles just don't hold a lot of power.
Exactly, because they're meant for big, heavy, slow machines.
Yeah, or little dinky machines. Those are the only two things.
Exactly.
So they're either really heavy or really weak.
Yeah, which Ethan has been talking about how the heck Gas Monkey did the pass-through on the Humvee.
Yeah.
I am really curious on
I
what
am
he did
too.
for that, because that thing seems like it has some serious power. It has a Hellcat.
Curious if it's like a lot of power, but like not gonna ever see that power. So if it was designed for a fact, like if it was designed to just roll around, or if it's designed to beat people.
I need to watch how they built it, because it also could not be both rears are powered easily, which would be lame, but
that would be pretty lame.
I could see it. But yeah, that is like something we would definitely do, like high level machining. Like we'd probably hire someone that could like design a differential for us, like they do for like Hoonigan does that. Yeah. They hire consultant companies. We're using this engine. It makes this much power. This is the gear ratio we want. And then they make a fully custom gearbox and diffs for that car.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had unlimited budget, we'd still stay with like DIY kind of rowdy vibes.
They'd just get a little better.
Do that so that things are possible.
Yeah.
Because like the amount of handcrafted engineering into the kernel.
Yeah.
With like this, there's a lot of things that Ethan went through to do that. Like he wanted it to have reverse and 4-wheel drive. So we got like the limited slip front diff with the little spinny thing to like push how much it slips from a 4-wheeler, and then the gearbox from a snowmobile. But the way it was spinning the wrong direction. So Ethan wasn't sure if switching which side of the gearbox was taunt on the chain.
Oh.
He thought that might break. So like all this research on, is that going to be strong enough? And at the end of the day, he was like, all right, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Spend 9 months building it. And if it can't handle the power, then we basically need to redesign a lot of it. Thankfully it could handle the power, but we really didn't know.
Yeah.
So just to save us like time and heartache, I feel like if we had unlimited budget, we'd just be like, hey,
we'd have custom
real engineer, would this work?
Yeah.
And if it's something that's actually impossible, like we still need to finesse the idea more, but it seems like the 6x6 drag racing WRX would be. Yeah. Is like, this is probably something we're going to need a custom situation.
And it would be an insane amount of money to make something that actually worked that was like that. So,
yeah. Yep. So it'd probably be kind of like we do the same things, but then we'd hit like a really big, heavy project once a year like that. Like world's fastest Subaru
6-wheel drive edition.
We got more traction. And it'll be heavier, and there's not a lot of 6x6 drag racers, and that's probably for a reason. That's probably
why. But it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a real reason to do these things. It's just really cool.
You do them because they're cool.
So you make them. Will the off-road tractor be finished and ripped around the yard? Yes.
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 We're working with throttle problems at the moment on that thing.
Which we're working on throttle electronics for a certain
other
car
things
that isn't being named in this podcast for push-up reasons. And I think that Will and I both agree that we just want to learn how Haltech software works, because that's the only reason why we aren't ripping the tractor.
It's the only reason that anything that we make with Haltech kind of doesn't work like to its full potential.
Yeah. It was probably not that hard. You just need to like learn the software and take the time to actually do it, which is hard when you're trying to like make a new craft every week.
Yeah. But if we could in-house like put a base map on something with Haltech and like know it was going to work at least 70% of what it could be doing.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Because everything we have, like even the kernel has choppy throttle throughout the rev range. Like Ethan's the only one that can drive that thing really
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would just be nice to be able to tune things.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I mean, I'm going to have a truck soon. So Ethan and I'll both have trucks, and then we'll finish the fire truck soon. And my plan for things like that is probably Will and I take the tractor to the dyno in Spokane and make a video getting it like properly tuned. And then we come back here and rally it. It's just right now with the way things are is if you're like, hey, Ethan, this project we were working on a year and a half ago, let's go take it to Spokane and spend like 2 days on this video that you're not working on your like monster chopper. He'll be like, no, monster chopper.
He's moving so quickly with the monster chopper.
Exactly.
It's kind of taking up all of his time.
But that's why I see you and I kind of having the role of like getting computer tuning gurus. Yeah. Like I know Ethan would be really good at it if he took the time to do it. But I think that Ethan's time is better spent on like the monster chopper. And like, I like to respect his time in that way as much as possible, because that's when the coolest stuff gets made.
Yeah.
I mean, like the only reason why we gave up on that thing is because the next thing
there was new
so
projects
coming.
Cooler, yeah.
Man, we got the fire truck. We were plasma cutting everything off of it. And then it got cold and we realized we don't have the space to work on it. But yeah, after that chopper's done, it's fire truck. And around that same season of life, my truck should be here. And then Will and I are just towing that tractor straight to the dyno. And we're just going to get it dyno tuned, and we're going to make friends with all the dyno boys, and we're going to learn how to, this is the stuff we talk about like just all the time.
Yeah.
Just doing it.
Being friends with someone with a dyno is like what you want to be
in life.
Yeah.
Especially a 4-wheel drive dyno.
Yeah.
That's even harder, but the tractor isn't. But yeah, I think that probably should conclude the podcast. Do you have wise words for us today?
Yeah, I actually do. I've been suffering from some pretty jank back pain.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but if I could give any advice to the good people of the internet, take care of your back. Because it's jank. Like sitting on like a crotch rocket or something and your back's like aching and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's unfortunate. So
you think it has to do with getting run over by a truck after crashing into it on your crotch rocket?
Like I think I'm having a little bit
to do physical therapy.
I think you should just take care of your body, and that is my wise words with Will.
And if you get run over by a truck and the insurance company is offering to pay for any medical expenses, get physical therapy.
Yeah, you should probably do that. It's nice, but I don't think I have any permanent damage, but if you're out there and you're doing rambunctious things, just like keep that in mind, because I'm almost 23. I'm turning 23 next month, and I already feel a little bit like an old man, so I'm a little worried.
Yeah, man. All right. Yep. Wise words with Will, folks. That's the Sent and Bent podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for watching.